Hey, what's up guys? Renee Jewett here, and I have an important message for you. It's okay to gain body fat in the off season. Not only is it okay, but it's crucial for your gains and necessary for your long-term health. I know that a lot of us, we have social media, of course. If you're a competitor or just in the fitness industry, you can scroll through your social media feed and all you see are chiseled abs, glutes tighter than bark on a tree. We're constantly bombarded with these images of super lean individuals, but that is a fallacy. There are the genetic outliers that can stay lean year-round, whether they're in prep or off-season. For the majority of us, myself included, it takes weeks, months of hard work to get down to a body fat percentage that is appropriate for stage. And while it is okay to stay there for a while and for an end goal, by no means is it healthy or necessary to stay in that lean state for an extended period of time past your show date. So in off season, it's okay to let that body fat creep back on. At some point in prep, we'll probably all deal with some of the signs and symptoms of relative energy deficiency in sports, REDS for short. Now, what is REDS? REDS is basically what it sounds like. It is low energy availability due to a calorie deficit. Our body fat is super low and our expenditure is super high. Now, some of the signs and symptoms, speaking to the ladies in particular, we can see a loss of our menstrual cycle. We can see decreased bone density because our estrogen is super low when we get down to those very low body fat percentages. We can see a derangement in sleep. Your body is basically waking you up to say, hey dummy, I'm hungry, feed me. We can see a loss of our libido. We can see irritability. We can get hangry. Nobody knows what hangry feels like until you are in the trenches of prep. Now, I like to call it getting out of the red zone, and you definitely want to get out of the red zone when you go into off season so you can start having a healthy and productive off season, not only for your short-term gains, but for your long-term health. Do you know those epic workouts where you step into the gym feeling super energized without loading up on tons of caffeine? You feel super strong, you're setting PRs, you have amazing pumps. Well, let me tell you something. Nobody's having those in prep because we're all just trying to survive. And this is just one of the many reasons why you cannot stay at a very low body fat percentage throughout your off season. You will not make substantial changes to your physique, and I know that's what we all want for the next time that we step on stage. It is necessary to let your body recover and reach a state of homeostasis, remove all those dieting adaptations from prep, and that is when you can start having a productive off season. I'm about 18 weeks post-show, and for the first 9 weeks really, I was focused on recovery and removing all of those dieting adaptations. At around the 9-week mark, that's when I started feeling really good, and honestly that's when my true off season started, because all those dieting adaptations were removed. I reached my body fat sweet spot to where hunger signaling wasn't super high, sleep wasn't deranged, libido had returned. I was feeling really good. And for the people that have a hard time with that post-show weight gain, something that I like to say is pounds for a purpose. This weight gain is necessary for our recovery, our performance, and for our future gains. Another reason to let that body fat creep back on is to improve hunger signaling. Hunger signaling is never going to improve if you're staying at a very lean body fat percentage. Now, we want to avoid a binge restrict pattern that we can see a lot in competitors, where we're at a very lean body fat percentage, we step on stage, You know, we're going into our off season. That night of the show, you know, you kick off the heels and you go to dinner, and suddenly you had a 10-course meal and you go back to your hotel and you're pounding down the Oreos. Next day you wake up, you look at yourself in the mirror, and what do you see? You look like the triple stuffed Oreos that you were pounding down the previous night. So what do? You jump back on your very low calorie diet and you do your fasted cardio. You know, you might do this for a couple of days, but hunger signaling is still out of whack. So you see that pizza and you're like, I don't have a show for a while. I'm in off season. What's the harm in having a slice of pizza? Next thing you know, you ate a whole large pizza. The next morning you wake up, you're like, oh crap, let me jump back on this very low calorie diet and go do some cardio. And that binge restrict diet, that's what we want to avoid in the off season. So adding calories to your base plan immediately after show is just going to improve your hunger signaling and avoid that binge restrict pattern. I'm a firm believer that you can experiment and enjoy, you know, foods in your improvement season. You should have tons of fat, carbs, and proteins since we are in a calorie surplus because we're trying to grow in our improvement season. So one of the things that I like to do is macro match my meals. This gives me a chance to try different foods that I wasn't allowed to have in prep since I was so restrictive. I mentioned before, one of the symptoms of RED-S is loss of our menstrual cycle. Now, some of us might let out a sigh of relief for missing a period or two, but staying in this constant state for months on end will only be detrimental to our health. A healthy ovulatory cycle provides all too important hormones that are necessary for our brain, heart, bone health. That's just a short list. Although some hormone derangement is common with the female competitor, you know, and we can manage this the best we can when we're in prep, there will be a level of sacrifice. That is why it is so important for your body to recover post-show and for those hormones to reach balance again and get out of the red zone. The longer you stay in the red zone, the harder it will be to come back from it year after year and let your hormones recover. We can't stay in that red zone and expect our physique to make substantial changes. You might do okay for a couple of years, but I promise you the health detriments will catch up to you. It's not a matter of if, but when. So improvement season or off season is really a time to take a mental break. We all know that prep can be hard on us physically, but it can be mentally hard as well. This is also a time to make improvements to your physique so the next time you step on stage, there's noticeable changes. This is a time to improve your health markers, which is so important for not only short-term gains, but long-term health, which I cannot stress is so important, and it's not something that we should sacrifice as competitors. So how do we start having a good improvement season? Well, we increase food because you need to eat to grow, right? Increase body weight. This is so important. If we want to put on substantial muscle tissue, some body fat will come with that. It just comes with the territory, and it is perfectly okay. You don't have to stay lean for the gram. Nobody stays lean year round except for those genetic anomalies, I promise. Lower your cardio. There's no point in hammering away for hours on the treadmill. This will only be a detriment to your gains. You can keep some cardio in for heart health purposes. Take stress and hormone support. Animal F is a all-in-one supplement pack that supports the female athlete's hormones, our hair, our complexion, our nails, our skin. This literally works from the inside out. And I hope that helps somebody out there to know that it is okay to put on some body fat in the off season. Not only is it okay, it is necessary for our gains and our long-term health. I'll talk to you guys next time. If you have any questions, please leave them below and I would be happy to answer them. I'll see you guys next time.